Hi, my name is Helen H. Kim, and I'm an LA-based multimedia artist. I've always been fascinated by the politics of gaze, as in who sees what, who gets to describe what they see, and ultimately who creates or influences a larger narrative about people, places, and things. I also grew up in LA, and if you're anything like me, then you have many memories of being shuttled to this place and that place. You're probably sitting in the back seat, passing the time by fighting with your siblings or looking dazed out the window. And this is exactly the kind of scenario in which I first encountered the LA River from the back seat of my family car. And it just became a really familiar, indelible part of this place that I called home. And even though I didn't know a whole lot about it until I became a grown up, I always knew that it was seen as a bit of a joke, kind of like the city that it belonged to. As in, of course, this vapid city like Los Angeles would have a joke of a river like the LA River. But much like the city itself, I find that if you take the time and the effort to explore the river, you'll be so rewarded with an incredible experience and a wealth of history. And I kind of like the fact that the river doesn't try to seduce you. Something about its aloofness is really beguiling and enjoyable to me.
We used to kick it right there. We used to kick it on that ledge right there. So many people used to camp out here.
And how was that?
I mean, everybody, kept to their own group. Like, don't come over here fucking with us. We won't go over there fucking with y'all. You got a problem with somebody in our group, present it as a group appearance. Like, you're not going to see that person by themselves. Because we stay in a group.
If somebody's without a group,
And
is that cause for suspicion?
no, that just means somebody wants to be by themselves. Which
Okay.
each and every one of us has been through.
Everybody that live here, the reason why they here is to get away from people, to not deal with everything.
Back in July, I had the opportunity to guest host the LA River X Instagram account, and I got to share some photos and videos from an art piece of mine called Home is Where the Heart Is. It was a map-based multimedia documentation of two friends who experienced being unhoused on the streets of LA for about 10 years. These two women, they spent some of their more peaceful times along the river when they wanted to get away from it all, but still have access to resources. And through the LA River X account, I got to share a little bit about their experiences along the river, how they spent their time, details like what the etiquette is when you approach other people living along the river, things like that. They ultimately had to leave the river because some foliage that they depended on to protect them from being seen and to give them privacy or cut down. And they had no choice but to go back to Hollywood, where they spent probably a good majority of their time being unhoused. Guest hosting was a great experience, and it brought back some fond memories of walking leisurely along the river with my two friends, asking them questions about what life was like when they lived in the streets. And it really did feel like we were getting away from it all.